All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you, just like me. All right, I know I get a lot of glare when I show off the CDs, but this is Jeff Scott Soto and his album Retribution, which came out a number of years ago. I always thought this was kind of a dig at Journey, um, the title getting back. This is retribution, boys. 11 months and then the pink slip. And yeah, anyway, Jeff Scott Soto is in the news because some weird things are happening. Michael Anthony appears to be putting together a supergroup of some kind, along with John Douglas. I think he's in Aerosmith currently. He's the touring drummer for Aerosmith. And Bon Jovi guitarist Phil X. Now, Anthony, who is currently the bassist for Sammy Hagar's The Circle, revealed the existence of the project during a March 22nd appearance on Trunk Nation with Mr. Eddie Trunk. When asked if he had any plans to form a new project or band once Hagar has finally retired, Michael said, "Well, I wasn't going to mention anything about it, but now that you've asked, Eddie, there is a little side project thing." A little side project. So this would be with Phil X, John Douglas, and most likely Jeff Scott Soto. So I think maybe, possibly, Michael Anthony might have heard those videos I did a couple of years ago, where he's saying, "Hey, you want a Van Halen replacement? You want a guy who can sing the Dave Halen and the Sammy Halen, right? Jeff is your guy. I mean, he's got the range, he's got the stage presence, he's a great front man. You know what I mean? So maybe somebody finally, listened, not just to me. I think Sammy Hagar did an interview one time when he was asked about JSS, and he was like, "Yeah, that guy's great." So anyway, I'm hoping this happens for Soto because he deserves it, number one. And number two, I know he loves Van Halen and Queen and all that stuff. I think there were like 3 bands I remember on his bucket list, and Van Halen is one of them. Now, I'm thinking, much like the deal with the supposed Van Halen reunion, which of course never materialized, or Van Halen tribute rather, this was supposed to be kept under wraps for a little longer, but Michael Anthony spilled the beans a little too early. Who knows when Sammy is gonna say he's had enough, but he's getting up there, and I'm thinking that maybe another year or two of touring, and that would be it. The band, by the way, is planning on recording original material, this new supergroup, which doesn't have a name yet. Maybe we should have a contest what we can name it, and send those suggestions over to Michael Anthony or Jeff Scott Soto. I think this would be really cool because, number one, people aren't done wanting to hear some Van Halen. And Wolfie is putting out some good music on his own, but is kind of pledged not to be part of a Van Halen future, if there was to be one. And I know it's a bit sacrilegious to have Van Halen without Ed, but it appears that nobody wants to do a tribute to Ed. And the only reason I can think is because he wasn't really all that loved in the music community, unlike Taylor Hawkins, who, again, his anniversary, I think, of his death was celebrated or talked about yesterday or the day before. It's just incredible. It's just the proportion are out of proportion. And again, this is a generational thing. I didn't see the whole Taylor Hawkins thing coming, but when it happened, and of course there are some suspicious circumstances surrounding that, and nobody talks about that because, you wouldn't want to open up that can of worms and discover the truth about anything. But hey, people were really into Taylor Hawkins. I guess much more so rather than Eddie Van Halen. So keeping this music alive, I think, is awesome. And Jeff Scott Soto is the perfect singer to do all of this. And Michael Anthony on bass and Phil X. And then you've got the guy from Aerosmith, John Douglas. So it sounds like a good band to me. Sounds like it would be really good. And people should look forward to that. In the meantime, you can check out Jeff's album here. This is called Retribution. And I know it's just too much glare I'm getting because I have really poor lighting. And but you could see kind of like the inside. I think Jeff gave me a little autograph there. He said, "Keep observing, bro," on one of the CDs. Keep observing, bro. So I'm observing Jeff Scott Soto, hopefully getting a real paycheck at some point, and he can retire comfortably. He can have a dignified retirement at some point. But he's got a lot of gas in the tank, and I'm sure he'll be coming out with more of his own music in the days and weeks and years to come. But this Van Halen thing, this sounds really good. This is, what I said. Hey, you've got this singer who can do all the material. Why not? All right, folks. Thanks again. Thanks to everybody who's watching the Eric Clapton interview. That was really fun. I'm getting 100% positive feedback on it. And it was a blast. Eric, a true gentleman. Why he wants to talk to me, still no idea. Still no idea. And I'm sure everybody on YouTube and all the different platforms are like, huh? Who is this guy? Why would he talk to this guy? Well, me and Eric are old buddies, from long ago. Not really, but we have stuff in common, which the rest of the music community 2 or 3 years ago didn't have in common. In fact, those people all believed one thing. Me and Eric and a few other people, literally a few, like, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., maybe throw him in there, right? We believed in another idea. And if you believed in that idea, much like if you have a different take on, say, the war in Ukraine, something like that, people will fact check you, they'll cut and paste, and they'll get their experts to show up and tell you off and put you in your place. But we just keep coming back. You know why? Because we've got good cheer and we've got the truth on our side. That's it. That's all there is to it. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. God bless you all. See you soon.